Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Indian report for the Nifty 50 for the 9th of June. I need to say today I don't have any answers for direction. We can look at a few strategies for things if certain things occur, but I don't have any answers when it comes to the top of this particular wave count here at the moment. So at the moment we could look at this here as the A wave, the B wave and the C wave here. The C wave could be finished, or there could be one more little high to move into here. Remember that the 10,500 is the 61.8% retracement level from the top to the bottom here. So it is significant. It is going to give us a bit of hard time, and it's going to force the market back into the 10,000. So we'll see how that plays out, but we'll look at the levels between these two levels here and work out what would constitute the market to move up and move down at what particular price point. So counting 5 waves up through here is a little bit tricky because most of the structure in here is okay to understand. A little bit tricky at the top and a little bit tricky down the bottom where we've got alternative counts, but all the same, it's been bullish to this particular point here. And the 10,000 number one here is, regarded really as a sticky number. So it's going to be interesting to see if the Nifty's going to, latch on to that and be pulled back down by it and stick there for some time. So we need to be mindful. Normally the distance above the level a market will go is normally the distance below it will go as well. So we'll keep that in mind. But let's just go in and have a look what we've got, even though we've got no answers. So the reason well, first of the things is we've also been, I'll just go back to the daily chart here. I just forgot one point. So it is possible to have an A and a B and a C here. We're counting the rest of the world up as 1 and 2 and going up for a third wave here. It is moving along quite nicely as a strength, as a third wave, but we would need to see it really sit on top of that 10,500 to confirm that. And at the same time, we've got two elements here that are stopping us. One is the 61.8% and one is the 10,000 being a strong sticky number, and we're likely to see some sort of correction across there. So let's just go back in here to the intraday and start working through it. So there is a case for this to from the low wave B here to wave C up here of B. We're looking for 5 waves, so we could count this here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 here, and then all the way up here for 3 and 4, pulling back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree here, and then moving higher at that point there. And that will give us the 61.8% mark here at that. So I should just move that down here a little bit here, a bit more realistic. As you know, we could also look at this as a bullish market, but I think that it's important to actually get past the 5 waves from wave B to wave C here. Once we're past that and we're up here somewhere, then fine, we can turn into our bullish mode of 1 and 2 here. But in the meantime, let's not get our hopes up and let's just trade what we see and stay with the evidence and be cautious, be on the cautious side of things. So yeah, as I mentioned, we can look at this as 1 and 2 here, and then 3 here and 4 here and 5 here. And there's a good case for that. There's a bit of an impulse wave down through here. So that's possible. If this market moves up and finds support on top of 10,300, which is group 1, so 10,000 is a major level, then we've got 1, 2 and 3 that make up group 1. And we know that if we get support on top of group 1, trading above it's not support, it's got to come back and sit there and then make a new high. So we don't have support on that level yet, but if we do, then we'll be moving up to the 5 at that point. Okay, so we don't have that. And while we don't have that, the market is still being pulled by this number here, the 10,000. So it's a bit of a magnet in that regard. So it's only when it gets tested support on top of 300 can we look up to 500. So that's a very clear line in the sand for me at that point. Now, if this is wave 3 at the top here, a blue wave 3, well then wave 4 could pull back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree. We can see here for that. So this is one count here. another count here on the 1 hour chart counts it a little bit differently from the bottom here with 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here. Kind of valid. It's not my favorite count. Also has this particular top in play here as well. As I mentioned, if we get onto 300 here, then we can go to the long side here at that point. So let's go to the 15-minute chart here. It's a little bit sort of messy. I just want to have a look at this top here first. There's a couple of ways it can be counted. First of all, the move down here can be counted as an A and a B and a C. That's not a problem. It's a three-wave structure here. Secondly, the move up through here, if we look at this can be counted in 5 waves. It could also be counted as an A and a B and a C wave, but it's not making a new low here. So it's probably better to look on it at the upside here. But if that's the case, then it would leave all this with a B wave here. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here for C wave for wave 4. So we may have a running flat correction here in terms of a running correction. So a 3, 3, 5 structure here for wave 4, but at the same time I haven't pulled this little structure apart here, but what we need for this market to be bullish, we need the simplest way I can find around the problem is having 10,300 as the support, and it's not there yet. This market has pulled down from this to this here at the 61.8% mark here. It's also from the top to the bottom here, it's rallied back up 50%, so 61% would be a little bit higher here. So we need to be on top of, if that is 5 waves coming down through here, then we need to be, it could fail from here and just move down from here. It could move down here in terms of having this wave 4 down here as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here for wave 4, pulling back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree. So there's a lot that can go on here. If this is going to move down through here, then the number 2 here, the 200, if that becomes the retested resistance, then we'll be pulled back down to this number. But if it follows the rest of the world and continues to move to the upside and finds support on top of the 300, then we'll trade long here and go to the 500 and get out from that point. We were long with a few positions in here, but we got stopped out through here. Just what it is what it is. So unfortunately, but still made a nice little tidy profit on that. But we're looking for our next setup. But all I can say, the safest next setup will be sitting on 300 as support, and we can look for the classic trading levels pattern for that as well. So that means the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, then the ABC pattern here, and we want to go long from that point there. So the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the ABC pattern here, we could have gone long above here, but the market didn't move back up there, so we didn't get the full. We got kind of a setup, but we didn't get all of it at that point. So that's what keeps us safe. It's a very simple pattern that keeps you safe. And yeah, look, that's it. I don't really have any answers except to because when I don't know the count, then I have to revert back to the trading levels, and the trading levels will tell me if I get support on 300, the top of group 1, then we're going to 5. If we find this as the retested resistance, the number 2 here, then we're going to be pulled down to here. If we're going to be pulled down, well, then we'll look at this as the wave 4 here at that particular point. And also possibly a top in play as well. So this can be counted as 5 waves down through to this point here. So any correction, just be very careful in this space. I don't think you should make a move in this unless you know something that I don't, and if that's the case, well then please share. Always happy to have constructive criticism, constructive wave count analysis, anything that's going to be helpful to anyone else. I'm all for that. Alrighty, I'm going to leave it at that. Well, thanks for tuning in and appreciate the support. So thanks. Trade to the level, get out.